we're also keeping track of Democrats who might be driving a hard left, and a lot of them happy to do so. Many positive about socialism, liking it more than capitalism. I don't know whether Juan Williams is in that group, but the five co-hosts joins us right now. What is going on with that? I mean, I know the numbers are all over the map, but when they were asked this, what are you more comfortable with? I think that's how it was framed. They said socialism. What did you make of it?
Well, I think you have to really dig a little deeper here. The questions about socialism, so much gets labeled socialism or progressivism. But I think what's going on in the country, Neil, is especially among the younger generation, it's not about confiscation of wealth. It's not about nationalization of industries. It's about a social safety net. And when it comes to the cost of health care, even prescription drugs, the cost of housing, the cost of education, more and more young people think the government has a legitimate role in providing them with some either safety net from falling or support so they can rise.
So when people say socialism, do they really know what socialism
I don't think they do.
means? I mean,
No.
you know, when we think of the Soviet Union, that's a totally different kind of socialism.
Right. Well, and that's communism even. But no, but they're not thinking in those terms. I don't think they want government in their life telling them what they can do in terms of entrepreneurship or who are the winners and losers. What they want is, in an era of very high income inequality, some protection against being left behind.
They're not going to get it.
Well, I think, you know what, this is interesting, because now if you want to talk Democratic Party politics, you really have to understand the popularity of things like a guaranteed income, especially in an era when it's harder and harder for those who are at the lower end of the wage earning scale to really compete and say, for instance, this is August, I have enough money to take time off to go on a vacation. I think that we're getting into a position where fewer and fewer of the young people feel they're in that position.
Do they figure out how you pay for that?
Well, you got to work hard. You have to have some luck. You got to build a resume. I think all these things are true. I've always been an advocate of saying to people, you know, don't do anything until you get an education. Certainly don't get married, don't have children until you're married, because I think the two incomes help to provide that safety net on a personal basis. But if you're talking in terms of the politics, you go back to the Bernie Sanders of the world. And Neil, I think it's also interesting that a lot of the Bernie Sanders people are very close on the scale to Donald Trump people in terms of that populist sense that, wait, why shouldn't we limit trade to protect some jobs for hardworking blue-collar people in this country? Why shouldn't we do something to make sure that young people can afford health care if we do much the same for the elderly in terms of Medicare? What about Social Security? A lot of the young people don't believe it'll be there for them. So it's interesting. The seniors would say, oh, you young Democrats, you younger generation, you're so interested in socialism. And I think the younger people would shoot back and say, wait a minute, you have government-protected income once you hit a certain age in this country.
Like, but safety nets are one thing, right? And I think that in our government system now we have safety nets. I don't know why go all the way radical and say socialism. I want socialism.
Well, I think it's a label, as I said at the start. I think that if you actually said to them, this is what socialism is, young people, it means that the government is going to nationalize your industries. We're going to look like Venezuela. They'd say, oh, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I think they believe in the American capitalistic dream. They just want to be sure that they're not being left behind.